All right, let's dive into a case that's got it all: free speech, the Supreme Court, and a 72-year-old grandmother whose fight for justice has huge implications for every single one of us. Seriously, just take a second and actually picture that. Why would she be there? Not for some big, serious crime. Nope. She'd be there for accidentally putting a piece of paper, a petition she organized, into her own binder during a pretty chaotic city council meeting. It sounds completely made up, but believe me, this is a true story. So who is this woman at the center of this incredible story? Her name is Sylvia Gonzalez, and at 72 years old, she'd just been elected as a city councilwoman in Castle Hills, Texas. She just wanted to get involved and make her community a little better. So let's walk through how this all went down. It started when Sylvia, doing her job as a councilwoman, organized a petition that was critical of the city manager. Okay, fine. But then, at the very next meeting, things got a little confusing, and she accidentally put that petition into her own binder. Instead of someone just saying, "Hey, can we have that back?" it turned into a full-blown criminal investigation. They charged her under this really obscure law and actually arrested her. A 72-year-old woman spent a day in jail for what was, at its heart, just a simple paperwork mix-up. You see, what happened to Sylvia wasn't really about a misplaced document at all. It was a classic example of a really dangerous legal concept, something that's a direct threat to our First Amendment rights. It's called a retaliatory arrest.
Welcome aboard with Lady Justice, Liberty Press, Season 7, The Revenge of the Records. Who's in?
So what is a retaliatory arrest? Well, it's when authorities use some minor, often forgotten law as a pretext, an excuse to punish someone for speaking out. The whole point isn't to actually enforce the law, it's to silence a critic. It's using the law as a weapon. And that brings us right to the core disagreement in this Supreme Court case. On one side, you had the government arguing, hey, as long as we have probable cause for any tiny violation, the arrest is perfectly legal. Our reasons for doing it don't matter. But Sylvia's argument was much different. She said, no, this arrest had nothing to do with a rule. It was punishment for my speech. And that motive, that retaliation, is what makes it illegal and unconstitutional. Think about it like this. It makes it super clear. Let's say a bunch of people are jaywalking, which is technically against the law, right? But the police only decide to arrest one person, the one holding a protest sign. Is that arrest really about keeping the streets safe, or is it about shutting that person up? Now, Sylvia Gonzalez could have just let it go, but she didn't. She absolutely refused to back down. She knew her rights had been violated, and she took her fight from that little town in Texas all the way to the United States Supreme Court. This was truly a David versus Goliath story. You've got one person, a grandmother and a local official, who took on the whole system to defend not just her own name, but a fundamental principle of what it means to be free in America. And you know what? In the end, the highest court in the land agreed that a little common sense has to matter. What came out of this case is a new, much more common sense standard for proving that an arrest was retaliatory. And this standard protects all of us. First, you no longer have to find some identical clone of yourself who did the same thing but didn't get arrested. Instead, you can now use objective evidence to simply show that people are almost never, ever arrested for that minor offense. And that evidence helps prove that the arrest was just a pretext, just an excuse to punish you for what you said. So, why does this one case about one grandmother in Texas matter so much to you and me? Because this ruling isn't just about Sylvia Gonzalez. It's a shield. It's a shield for every American who wants to speak up, who wants to participate. It's a major blow against something called the chilling effect. See, when people are afraid they could be arrested on some flimsy excuse, they might just decide to keep their mouths shut. That fear chills free speech before it even happens. But because Sylvia Gonzalez thought back, we're all a little safer when we speak at a town hall meeting, when we film public officials, when we ask tough questions, when we criticize the government, and yeah, when we organize a petition, all without the fear of being silenced. And this really gets to the heart of it all. When the power to arrest is used not to keep people safe, but to shut down dissent, it stops being law enforcement. It turns into something way more dangerous: censorship. If you take just one single thing away from all this, let it be this. The Supreme Court has now made it crystal clear. Having probable cause for some tiny technical offense does not give the government a blank check to punish you for your speech. your right to speak your mind matters more than that. And so, this case leaves all of us with a really critical question to think about. It's not just for the police or for city officials, but for every single one of us as citizens. When does simply enforcing the letter of the law cross that line and become an act of silencing a voice? Thanks to Sylvia Gonzalez, we're now all better equipped to answer that question and to stand up for our rights.
Have you heard the word? thepolicerecord.com/invite/LJLP. Get you some discountage over there at thepolicerecord.com. Hope to see you there.
I think one of those ones good.
I messed up, sorry.
I think one of them is good. I think we're good. You want to do it again? All right. Okay. I'm not going to say 3. I'm going to say 1. I'm going to say 2. And then we're going to start. Okay. 1, 2.
Keebler AI Music.
Beneath the city lights, you stand so strong, the silent guardian, where the rights belong. Through the crowd you see the truth unfold, your heart beats steady, your hands are bold. In the silence, in the pain, you watch over us through the rain. Every moment you stand tall, Lady Justice, you hear the call. With every move you fight for the free, justice shines in your eyes, can't you see? With every word, every glance that you make, remind us all there's a difference to take. Lady Justice, you carry the weight, you hold our hearts, you set our fate.